Should I say something? Or should I just sit here and look like a dummy? Well, since I'm here, I might as well say something. So I'm going to say something. Good morning. How is everybody doing this morning? I'm doing fine. Nobody asked me, but I'm doing good. Yeah, I'm doing really good. I woke up on this side of heaven. I'm doing all right. Well, actually, on this side of the ground, I'm doing okay. Not a problem at all. Good morning to you. Well, as you rise and shine this morning, I'm Kevin Elkins, of course, and this is Decisions. Why do we call it Decisions? Because, well, everything we do requires us to make one. And even when we take the opportunity at times not to make one, well, guess what we just did? We just made one. So you see, there's no way around making decisions. So we figured we want to stay relevant on this show. So everything we talk about has something to do with the decisions in life that you make. The question is, we all make them. So we ought to make the best of them when we get an opportunity to. Good morning to you. Right now, as you rise and shine in the city of Montgomery, Alabama, the temperature outside right now, believe it or not, it is 50 degrees outside right now. As a matter of fact, the forecast for the day is a 74% chance of precipitation. If you're headed on the freeways and the byways and the highways, there we are supposed to get some snow, probably at least some rain or a nor'easter. A nor'easter is when it drops a whole lot of snow. I'm not sure if that's what it's going to be, but with all this rain and the temperature being what it is, yeah, there's a good chance we are going to see some snow today. Now, this is Montgomery, so I don't know about how much we'll see, but we may see a couple of flurries here and there. But we know some places in America, they're going to see a lot of snow. A steady rain this morning. Showers continuing this afternoon, high between 56 degrees, and winds light and variable. Chance of rain again, 70%. On tonight, a 62% chance of precipitation, which means, cloudy and occasional rain showers, low 49 degrees, winds are light and variable, chances of rain, 60%. On tomorrow, a 24% chance of precipitation, cloudy, slight chance of rain shower, high around 60 degrees. So, this is only dangerous weather because when the temperature gets to a certain degree and there's precipitation goes with it, that precipitation has a tendency to turn into snow. So it has to be, and it has to be around 32 degrees or less for snow to fall anyway. At least I remember that from school, being from Indiana and stuff. Uh, Go IU. Anyway, so precipitation, 83% chance this morning through 10 o'clock this morning. Pollen, there is none. Air quality is moderate. And the UV index, that's moderate also. But that's your weather for the city of Montgomery, Alabama. I hope everything goes well for you guys today. Be careful. If you got to go on the freeway, remember to drive carefully. Okay. They're going to pick up Z. So I tell them, drive carefully, drive carefully, drive carefully. Don't rush it. Don't try to be the first one there. Don't be trying to pass people because they're going too slow because they'll be passing you when you when, they'll be passing you while they see you on the side of the road. Okay. Another thing, if you get behind a truck, if it starts snowing and you get that, stay as far back from a semi as you possibly can. If you've never driven in snow, semis, when they pass you, they leave a blinding trail of snow. So you might want to, you don't want to be too close to a semi truck if it does start snowing real heavy. Okay, I just want to let you know that. I'm giving you that from experiences because you'll be on side of the road and he'll keep moving. So I'm just telling you, you might want to. So just be cautious, and you cannot drive in snow like you do on water. Okay, it's different. So the best thing I can tell you is just be careful. Take your speed down at least 10 miles per hour less than what you do, and be careful. That's all. If you have to go someplace today along on the road, put a blanket in the trunk or something like that, just in case there's a big old wreck on the freeways and stuff like that, and you can't go any place and you're stuck in your car for hours. I've seen that. Always carry some water and put a blanket or something in the car, a couple blankets, as a matter of fact, because you can't sit there with your car on all day and all night because you won't have no gas left when the accident is filled. There will be an accident someplace. Okay, if it starts snowing, there's going to be an accident because people think they're smarter than snow, and they're not. I'm just saying. I'm just giving you my experience driving in snow for a few years and things of things like that. Okay. Good morning, Randy. Good morning, Big Daddy Kane. C Main. Good morning, everybody else. Now it is time. It is time to and good morning to my YouTube friends out there. And I only got one guy on one person on Facebook. Come on, man. I'm trying to make a living here. Help a brother out here. Just show up sometime. Show up for a brother every once in a while, like Randy just did. Good morning, Randy. How you doing? Outstanding. Okay. Anyway, good morning to you. It's time to rise and shine because it's one more day, one more above the ground, and the ground's not above you.
We change the world and history right here where we're from. It's new beginning to you and me, cause we're not done. In our city, in our city, in our city, we're not done. I feel like that. In the quiet of the morning light, hands raised high in pure delight, thankful whispers in a
And the most important part of the show this morning, it always is our daily bread. A word from on high, something that'll change your perspective. I'll give you a new one. But either way, it's good for the soul. Good morning to you. It is, believe it or not, the 22nd day of January. My birthday, my sister's birthday is on the 22nd. Anyway, good morning. I'm feeling pretty good. Hope most of you guys are feeling pretty good this morning. So there we go. That's a little straight. Anyway, good morning to you. This day finds you well. Next up, it is our daily bread. A word from on high, something that'll change your perspective or at least give you a new one. But again, either way, it's good for the soul. Our daily bread's up next, and then it's a great day to be alive. I love that one. I just love it. I got to play it at least once or twice a month. Okay? Now, if anybody knows some good other audio pieces for motivation and then send me a link to it, and I'll do that. I'll play some more. But I love this one. Anyway, good morning to you. Time to rise and shine. Good morning, Dr. Joe. Appreciate your support. Even though you and Alabama Power are screwing me, gluing me, and tattooing me with your high electric bills. But thank God I'm able to pay it at the moment. Don't know about tomorrow. Can't do anything about yesterday. But today is warm. We'll see. We'll be right back.
Through storms that rage and skies of blue, each day I wake and I choose you in every heartbeat.
Welcome to today's encouragement from Our Daily Bread. Leslie Coe wrote our reading, and he titled it, A Fresh Start. Chinese New Year celebrations are observed by Chinese families everywhere. These festivities are tied to the lunar calendar, usually falling somewhere in late January to mid-February. These times for family reunions come with many traditions, some of great significance. Buying and donning new clothes, giving our homes a good cleaning, and paying off outstanding debts remind us we're putting the past behind and starting the year with a clean slate. These traditions also remind me of our new life in Christ. No matter who we used to be or what we've done, we can put it all behind us. We can stop beating ourselves up over our past and let go of the guilt, knowing we're completely forgiven because of Jesus' death on the cross. And we can start afresh, knowing we can rely on the Holy Spirit to daily transform us to be more like Jesus. That's why Paul reminds believers in 2 Corinthians chapter 5, the old has gone, the new is here. We too can say this because of the simple but powerful truth. God has reconciled us to himself through Christ and no longer counts our sins against us. Others around us may not be willing to forget our past wrongdoing, but we can take heart that in God's eyes, we're no longer condemned. As Paul points out in Romans 8, if God is for us, who can be against us? Let's enjoy the fresh start God has given us through Jesus. Today's Our Daily Bread devotional scripture reading is from 2 Corinthians chapter 5, verses 16 through 20. So from now on, we regard no one from a worldly point of view. Though we once regarded Christ in this way, we do so no longer. Therefore, if anyone is in Christ, the new creation has come. The old has gone. The new is here. All this is from God, who reconciled us to himself through Christ, and gave us the ministry of reconciliation, that God was reconciling the world to himself in Christ, not counting people's sins against them. And he has committed to us the message of reconciliation. We are therefore Christ's ambassadors, as though God were making his appeal through us. We implore you, on Christ's behalf, be reconciled to God. Let's pray. Thank you, Jesus, for your saving work on the cross that reconciled us to God and gave us a new life in you. Help us to see every day as an opportunity for a fresh start and to prayerfully enter the day seeking to be led by you. Thank you, Lord. It's in your name we pray. Amen. Thanks for listening. I'm Stephen, and today's encouragement was provided by Our Daily Bread Ministries.
Okay, that's right. This is our own McMillan School of International Academy here in Montgomery, Alabama. That's right. They got it done. Granddaughter's in there. Birthday coming up. college birthday is coming up Sunday. But I don't know what do you get a 10-year-old? I don't have a clue. Oh yeah. And good morning, Mike. Good morning. Jarhead. Anybody know why you call them jarhead? See you later. Okay, for the folks out there who may not know this, I'm going to tell you. Um, the reason why they call Marines jarheads, because if you look at their collar, now I could be wrong. There's somebody out there that's a Marine. You can square me away if you need to, but this is my understanding. If you look at their collars that go around their neck, you know what I'm saying? Right here, you know, it's gonna, yeah. Well, it makes their head look like a cap on a jar. That's what I understood anyway. I could be wrong, but and that's why they call them jarheads, because the collars that they wear on top of their. Never mind. Don't worry about it. Now I do have some news today. At 8:30 this morning, my son is going to graduate AIT, and he'll officially. I mean, you know, he's been there for a minute, but officially he will be uh, the soldier in the United States Army, although part time. And next week, I know, next week, all that stuff in back of me, it's coming down. I'm going to get me some decision stuff to put up there and things of that nature, because I told myself the torch, like Kennedy said, the torch has been passed. I don't need to keep reminding myself what I used to be. So I'm going to take all that stuff down, and he gets the mantle all by itself. Okay, he gets the mantle all by itself. He is the one that's in harm, that can go in harm's way. Uh, so we're gonna take all my military stuff down, and so the day, because it's good. It's good to pass the mantle everyone. Now I got to become a now I have to become a full time civilian. Well, that's gonna be a tough one. But that's what I got to come. I got to become a full time civilian now. Okay, that's a tough one. Yeah, that is a tough one. Anyway, so good morning to you. Hope that they find you well. Next up, the first thing we're going to talk about this morning. I have a video to show you guys this morning. And the only reason why I bring this part of it up is because it is relevant. There's a guy going around the United States telling black pastors that they do not know how to preach the Bible. I said, wow. I mean, now he's got a lot of chutzpah on that one. I mean, but anyway, I'm gonna let you hear him, and then you can see if you agree with him. Also, everybody always talks about Charlie Kirk. Don't know nothing about him. Nothing about. Well, we got a bunch of stuff. I'm gonna let you guys listen to him talk to some people, not just one, two, or three, but a few people about what he believes, and debate a couple of people, because you know what, the guy was magnificent in getting his point across, and so we have people that saying nasty things about the guy, don't know him, don't know what he stood for, and because out of their own ignorance, and they didn't try to find. Well, today you're going to find something about the guy, and I think that I think he was a magnificent human being, not a perfect human being like nobody is, but he's a whole lot better Christian than most Christians who think themselves Christian. But anyway, it's a great day to be alive. That's coming up next, and then we'll go to this pastor who thinks that most black pastors, I mean, he said around the country, he said most of them do not know how to. I think Tony told me there was a word. Is it called exposited or something, exegesis or something? They don't know how to rightly interpret the word of God. Well, we'll talk about that when we come back. It is Thursday, but next up, it is a great day, an outstanding day to be alive.
My grandmother became my first hero. Growing up, my grandmother never used an alarm clock. But every morning, my grandmother would wake up at 4:15. And at 4:16, her feet would hit the floor, usually right in front of my face. And that's what would wake me up. But I would lay there and I would pretend like I was still asleep, because me and 4:15 really didn't get along. But grandma would look at the back of my head. I could feel her staring at me. And then finally she would say, "Now, sugar, grandmama know you ain't asleep. You just supposed to go on and get on up and get ready for school." And my grandmother was known for saying things that would kind of make you a little angry because they made so much sense and you couldn't argue with her. Parents, you know, there's things that when you become parents, you start to say to your own kids. Like my grandmother would say, "Now, son, you knew when you laid down there last night that you had to get up this morning. I don't know why every single morning you lay there and act surprised. You ought to be thankful that the Lord saw fit to wake you up this in your right mind." But what my grandmother was encouraging me to do was simply to be grateful for the opportunity. In spite of all that I had been through in my life, she just wanted to make sure that I understood the opportunity that I've been given. My life got started, it was a little rough. It was a little rough start. I was born 2 months premature. My mother was walking up a flight of stairs, and she didn't know this at the time, but a woman she had had an argument with earlier was standing above her holding a pot of boiling water. As my mom made her way up those stairs, that woman dumped that water onto my mom and sent her tumbling down the stairs and into premature labor. She received third-degree burns to over 25% of her body. And when we were finally allowed to leave the hospital, as you can imagine, my mom was in a great deal of pain. Those burns just barely missed her face and covered most of the front of her body. So when we got home, she began taking a heavy sedative, pain medication to help her recover. When she took that medication, it was very difficult for her to watch me, so I would bounce around a lot. I'd stay with my mom for a little bit, and then I'd go stay with grandma, and I'd stay with some neighbors, aunties, and then back to my mother's house. I did that for the first 3 years of my life. When I was 3 years old, I was back at my mom's house, and I got into her purse, I found that medication, I swallowed everything in the bottle. When they found me, they rushed me to the hospital, and my heart would stop, and eventually I went into a coma. But because of that accident, because of that incident, the state of California, they did an investigation. And the conclusion that they came to was that it wasn't an accident. They removed me from my mother's home. I was made a ward of the state, and eventually I went into the foster care system. Shortly after I arrived to one of my foster homes, my foster mom, her name was Miss Alexander. Miss Alexander began locking me inside the closet with no light. She'd open the closet door, she'd kick me, hit me with a stick or a strap or whatever she had. It was while I was in that foster home that I was sexually abused for the first time in my life. And oftentimes people will ask, if that has to be the worst thing that could happen to someone. I have scars on my body that you can't see. I have a burn here on my hand that she put there with an iron. But all of that pain went away. worst thing that Mrs. Alexander would do is she would open the closet door, she would stand over me, and she would say, "You're stupid and you ain't gonna never amount to nothing." And that hurt me more than any of the physical kicks or the physical pain because I believed it for a long time. I believed that I would never amount to anything, just like she said. I didn't know this at the time. I found out a little bit later, but my grandmother, my hero, she had started going back and forth to court, trying to prove that she could take care of an active, handsome little boy. And eventually the state of California, they granted her full custody of me. And I'll never forget, I'll never forget standing on Miss Alexander's front porch waiting. She had my little belongings, everything that I had. I remember standing there, it may have only been a half an hour, but it felt like an eternity, and I can remember thinking maybe no one's coming. But after a while, at the end of the block, I see the ugliest car I've ever seen in my life. And the car pulls up right in front of the porch. And I remember all I could see are these two big glasses, bifocals. And I found out later that Grandma had glaucoma. She wasn't even supposed to be driving. But she gets out of that big car and she's got on this white floppy hat with this, it was a flower right there in the middle. And I remember she had on this long white dress that came all the way down to her ankles. And I found out later that, that was Grandma's Sunday best. It was an outfit that she only reserved for special occasions. And I can remember for once in my life feeling like I was some special occasion. But I remember jumping into Grandma's arms and squeezing her, and I remember her whispering and saying to me, "Everything's okay. You're family." And everything was okay, just like Grandmother said. And I had a lot to look forward to. I found out that my mom was going to court trying to prove that she could take care of me. And I can remember sitting there with my mother, and we talk, and we had a lot of different conversations. One thing I can remember saying, "Mama, one day when I get big, I'm gonna buy you a nice house with a fireplace." I said, "Mama, one day I'm gonna buy you a nice car." Not like grandmama's, and get you a nice one. But the truth is, I just really wanted to become a family again, and that's what I looked forward to. When I was 12 years old, I was asleep on my grandmother's floor. It was about 4 o'clock in the morning. We get a knock on the door. And it was my mom's roommate. Miss Howell, come quick." Miss Howell was my grandma. She said, "Come quick, it's Ruth." Ruth was my mom. She said, "I can't wake her up. I think she's dead." And I can remember laying on that floor, kind of wishing it was, hoping that it was maybe a dream. But it wasn't. And that's how I found out that all the hopes and dreams and things that I had to look forward to weren't going to happen. I became very angry. I became confused. I was hurt. I didn't really understand what was happening. I started acting out, hanging out with the wrong people, breaking into houses, started stealing cars. I can remember not really caring what happened to me. I continued that behavior until I was 19. When I was 19, I found myself standing in front of a judge. I was handcuffed, had a chain around my waist, and my handcuffs were attached to that chain. The judge looked at me and says, "The state of California sentences you to 15 years in prison for armed robbery and assault with a deadly weapon." That day, when that door closed behind me for the first time as a convicted felon, I remember standing in that empty cell. I remember my knees started to get weak and they started to shake uncontrollably. I collapsed and I fell to the floor, and I just started crying alone. I can remember hearing voices. Heard the voice of my foster mom saying, "You're stupid, you ain't gonna never amount to nothing." Heard the voice of family members and friends of family that said, "That boy's gonna end up just like his father." My father was a career criminal, he died in prison. I can remember laying there thinking to myself that this is where I'm gonna die. But here's what happened that would change my life. Shortly after I arrived to that prison, there was an educator there. His name was Charles Lyles, 6'3", ex-Marine. And I don't know what it was about me, but every time he saw me, he'd say, "Hey, Mr. Humphrey." And he had this big smile on his face, a smile that my kids would say, "That's creepy." But he smiled and he said, "Hey, Mr. Humphrey, how are you doing?" He always called me Mr. Humphrey. He gave me that respect. He walked into my cell. He looked at me and he said, "Mr. Humphrey," he says, "prison doesn't have to be your life." He says, "You can get out of here and you can do great things." He started to walk away, and before he walked out of my cell, he turned around one last time and he says, "Mr. Humphrey?" I said, "Yes, sir." He says, "I believe in you." He walked out of my cell. And
And if he had continued to stand there, he would have seen the tears running down my face because no one had ever said that to me. But I remember thinking to myself, I'm going to make some changes, and I'm going to change my life. And a little over 4 years after the day I originally collapsed and fell to the floor, I walked out of that prison on parole. That was over 18 years ago. I've never been back other than to mentor and help other people. But here's what I know. I know that when you've had a rough life, when you feel unwanted, I know that when you have hopes and dreams and when you have things that you can look forward to and when you have people in place that support you and push you, I know that that gives you a reason to live. It is a great day to be alive. And that's something that I haven't always said, but now it's something that I say to myself every single day at some point. If I'm having a great day or a bad day, that's something that I say. But what I also understand is that what my grandmother was thanking her higher power for each and every day was for the opportunity that she'd been given. And she never missed an opportunity to tell anyone that would listen, especially me, it's a great day to be alive.
It is a great day to be alive. Yes, it is. That's why I got that saying. I don't really think we
My first hero.
I don't really think we appreciate the days that we have sometimes, but it is a great day to be alive. Okay, good morning to you. Now, on Thursdays, we normally talk a little bit about religion, but since I don't have anybody scheduled for today, I was having I'm trying to get some people, some of these preachers in town to hear this. Now, I don't know if the guy's right or wrong. I think the guy's made a very bold statement. Okay, I'll say that much. Let me get this. Let me get myself back on that screen right there. There we go. The guy's made a very bold statement. I think somewhat irresponsible, but then again, I'm not known. I don't really know. I'm not a scholar in biblical things, and from the way it looks, a lot of people are not scholars. Because that's why we got. I guess that's why we got. What's that word they use? Is it exegesis? What does that word mean? Anybody know what that word means? I'm not a pastor, but we got any pastors out there. Let me put the number on the board because you can well you can just write it on the thing right there. They got something called good morning, Miss Shamika, Miss Go Getter. So I think that what he is saying is that black pastors don't know how to uh, um, what's the word I'm looking for? How to rightly divide the word. Now I don't listen again. I don't know if this guy's full of crap or not. I don't know. Because I'm not okay. I'll be doing. Yeah, I'll have to start doing PT next week too. Because Z's gonna be back in town. He's probably gonna mandate that I do PT in the morning. So we'll have to do that since. But until that time, I'm taking the day off. So anyway, so this guy is here, and I just want to share this with you guys and get your opinion on it. And one other thing that somebody don't let me get out of here without talking about this, okay? Because again, the Democrats are trying to cheat us. They want early voting. Okay, again, it is not in the Constitution. Not in the Constitution. I don't know when the hell. I mean, are black people going to ever stop being victims to the Democratic Party? That's all I want to know. Are we ever going to stop making people think that we're all dumb? We can't get to only place we can get to go to one of Roscoe Miller's feet washing things. Only place we can get to is a casino. I don't see anybody out at the casino telling our folks, "Hey, you better go home because you shouldn't be here." No, we don't. Well, for some reason, we wait a minute. We can get to the casino. Poor folks, old folks, everybody. We can get to the casino, but we can't seem to get to the voting place. I mean, aren't we tired of being people acting like we as black folks are mentally ill? I mean, aren't we getting tired of that? It always comes around from the Democratic Party. We need early voting because our people are too stupid to get to the polls. Okay, they don't know where the poll is. But if somebody said we give away chicken, guess what? Everybody in town would be there. Okay, okay. So we're not mentally ill because we had to be born black. That don't mean we born stupid. Okay, but the Democratic Party, and I didn't say all the Democrats. The Democratic Party, and again, they want us to think that we can't get to the polls, so we got to vote early. Show it to me in the Constitution where it gives us the date that, especially the presidential races, it gives us the date of the month that we're supposed to vote in November. Okay, I'm just saying. Anyway, so let's go. Let's bring this guy up right quick. This is going to be a little bit controversial this morning, which I don't really care because that's the way life goes sometimes. Okay, I'm just thinking. So now this is the guy right here who says, I mean, what you you're going to hear what he says. So let me undo that right quick, and then we'll come back after he gets done with his expose of telling us how uninformed that black pastors are. And I don't know. I mean, I'm certainly not a pastor. Would never claim to be one. I'm too busy working on myself to help you. So let's see what he says.
About 90 to 95% of the black church in America is objectively, by the standards of Scripture, heretical. It doesn't even constitute a true church.
Okay, the word heretical means it's like teaching things that are almost blasphemous. Okay, that's what he said. That's what the word heretical means. Okay, he's teaching things that are almost blasphemous, and it's like being almost biblically illiterate. Okay, let's go.
About 90 to 95% of the black church in America is objectively, by the standards of Scripture, heretical. It doesn't even constitute a true church. They're teaching things that are absolutely in direct opposition to the Christian faith. If you listen to the message and you believe what they're saying, you will go to hell. I love black people. I want them to know Christ. And currently, there are not enough black men in America, Christian men, who know enough theology to be able to be qualified to pastor black churches. The black church in America needs to be split up. It needs to go and find a good, God-fearing white church with biblically qualified men so that they can hear the real gospel of Jesus Christ and come to saving faith in him. Let
me hear that one more time. This really, my ears perked up when I heard this. But okay.
90 to 95% of the black church in America is objectively, by the standards of Scripture, heretical. It doesn't even constitute a true church. They're teaching things that are absolutely in direct opposition to the Christian faith. If you listen to the message and you believe what they're saying, you will go to hell. I love black people. I want them to know Christ. And currently, there are not enough black men in America, Christian men, who know enough theology to be able to be qualified to pastor black churches. The black church in America needs to be split up. It needs to go and find a good, God-fearing white church with biblically qualified men so that they can hear the real gospel of Jesus Christ and come to saving faith in him. About 90 to
Okay. Now, I personally, I'm not a pastor. I actually found this to be somewhat insulting. However, there are some are called and some just go. But I would have to say, see, the only insulting part of this, I'm with you. Listen. So certain part of this would just it goes to white pastors too. You know, it's kind of insulting, but I want to know where I've been trying to find it because I'm trying to get him on. Well, everybody has to get their calling somewhere, Don. I mean, so just because you happen to be in prison, don't make you doesn't mean that you're not. But now, if this pastor's contention that you have to go to some sort of um, uh, uh, religious school in order to learn how to pastor. I believe God can put in you whatever He wants to put in you, and you can be just as knowledgeable through Christ as you can anybody else. So, yeah. Oh, okay. Okay. Hold it. Don't say anything. Let me get you on the line. I got to take this other guy off here and get you on here. So don't hold on. 'Cause nobody will. Hold on a second. Hold on 1 second here. Let me see. Okay, so let me see. Because I want people to be able to hear a brother. That's right. That's it. Because I want you to let me see. Share the screen. Blah 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 blah. Oh, there we go. Right there. Share that right there. Okay. Okay. Now go ahead. Oh, there we go. Right.
All right, all right. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Let me do a comm check. Don't say nothing real quick.
Oh, there we go. Right.
All right, all right. All right, yep. You can hear me. They can hear me. Just doing a comm check. Just wanted to say good morning, break up the monotony a little bit. Yeah, that pastor was ignorant. That was ignorant. It ain't got nothing to do with white or black. It's about just Jesus, you know. It ain't got nothing to do with all that. But I wanted to give a special shout out to Camilla Hooks this morning. She cooked me breakfast, and I tell you what, boy, she stuck her foot all the way down in it, corns and all.
Well, and somebody said, "What part of Why don't I find it? Because how is it that you only find a certain part of this insulting?" I'll tell you that when my caller leaves. But yeah, what else on your mind there, caller?
Don't forget to put your phone number up because
Oh yeah.
I'm looking forward to hearing what some of these keyboard warriors. I want Camilla to call up and give me a shout out because after breakfast this morning we had a good time smooching. But I don't know if she wants to tell you that. But thank you, Camilla, for the sausage and eggs or that pepper jack cheddar that you put on the eggs. All right, Kevin, have a good day, boss.
Okay, I appreciate that. That's right. Our number. Where's that number? Okay, where's that number. I'll tell you that in a second there, Dwayne. Why only parts of it is insulting. To tell me that I have to go to a white church in order to be able to talk about the Bible, I think that's kind of insulting. However, however, um, you do know that we got a lot, and there's a number right there if somebody wants to call in. You do realize that we have a whole lot of people out here that ought not be in the pulpit. I mean, you know that. I know that. If you ever see me in the pulpit, call the police because I've lost my ever loving mind. Okay, so there are. I okay. Let me just say this. A lot of times I've gone to white churches because the methodology of delivering the word is a little different and more of a a teaching platform where a lot of black churches I've attended, not all of them, all that hooping and howling just wears me out. I mean, after get done giving the word, what did he say? So I, it may not be intellectual or theological what he's complaining about. He may not know what he's complaining about. I think maybe he's complaining more about the delivery than the competency of black pastors. Okay, often. I mean, and let's just face it. We got churches on every corner, literally almost on certain parts of Montgomery, and that's in every city in America. Every city in America, in urban areas, we have a church. I mean, we have made a profession out of putting up churches, and then uh, later on, you don't you really don't remember what they say. Our communities now, and here's another thing. A few years ago, we did a survey. If you went downtown to the bank and for a asked for a um, loan, the only loans you could get for a long time as black folks was to build another church. I have never known anybody to get a loan to put up a factory, to put people to work that was black. Never. Never. And it may have happened, but I don't know. But if you go downtown to Compass Bank or places like that back then, if you say I'm putting up a church, they are more than likely willing to give you the loan. Now, because they know the banks knew that black folks believe in paying their tithes. We believe in paying the church. Not paying the church, but paying your tithes in church. So there was a good chance that the church was going to get at least a whole bunch of payments before we went bankrupt. Okay, so I think what this guy is saying, I think he don't know. I don't think he knows how to put it. I think it is the traditions and the customs that black churches do that he doesn't quite understand. Okay. Again, I don't think it has anything at all to do with competency. Okay. Well, and do you think other groups have folk? Listen, it's a great question. Why only highlight the black clergy? Do you think other groups have folks in the pulpit that's unqualified? Uh, yeah, that's true. But can I be honest? Can I be? I'm a black guy, so most churches I've been to. Well, no, that's not necessarily true. I've actually got a mixture of 50-50, a 50-50%. I've gone to 50% white, 50% black, and I will tell you, um, historically, in the black churches that I have gone to, historically, it is more about, I don't know, things that there are a lot of things that go on that just don't have anything to do with the church. Okay, okay. I don't care who the oldest one in the church is. I don't care who the youngest one in the church is. I really don't care about a lot of things that go on in that church. That ain't where I came. Okay. How you know about, because at 68 years old, brother, I've been going to church a long time. And I've been going to both of them, from the chaplains on the military bases, from the chaplains to I have been to every church, every denominational church that there is. I've been to the Latter-day Saints. I've been to Muslims. I've been to just about all of them. AME, Baptist, Southern Baptist, Northern Baptist. I've been to them. Methodists. I've been to all of them. And again, I think the guy probably has culture mixed up with competence, and he doesn't understand our culture, and therefore, because he didn't make see, I wanted him to make more of a case for what he was saying, and he didn't. Okay, look who's in charge of America. It speaks volumes of why America is catching hell every day. We wake up in crazy land. Well, I don't think Trump started any of that. As a matter of fact, Trump is probably the only president in a long time that doesn't strangle people by almost telling them you can't talk about these things at work. You can't talk about these things at school. He doesn't care if you talk about God. And you don't really have to feel all scared to say something that you're gonna lose your job or something if you talk about God at school or in the streets, whatever. I mean, for every other president, they wanted to be politically correct. The Bushes, Obama, still trying to figure out what he is. Obama, and Biden. I just think he forgot all about church. But we Trump is the only one where it became fashionable again when he won the first time to say Merry Christmas in our public places. I mean, honestly, he's the only guy, only president I've seen in a long time that it wasn't a big deal. Nobody felt like they were on their toes. They had to walk on eggshells to say anything about God. And it is what it is. Okay. Again, John, I've been to a bunch of black church. I was raised in a black church. Okay. So I was raised black. And I got tired of the hooping and hollering then. Because by the time I got out, most of the time, I was tired of listening to the hooping and hollering. And I went downtown. Ha, blah, 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 blah. Ha. Like, come on. What are you talking about? What are you saying? What's going on here? What was the issue? And I will admit to you that often I learn more in white churches than in black churches. The theatrics in black churches, not all of them, back in the day, I think we got a little bit better. Now this guy right here, I don't know what he belongs to, and again, you don't have to belong to a church. The church is in you. But since we do have all these denominations, I will tell you that sometimes when I got out of black church, I was tired not from sitting in church, from hearing all that hooping and howling. Okay, and now I will say one thing: our choir sing a lot better. Okay, I like the music in the black church better than I like in the white church, but that's because I'm not white and the culture. That's not my culture, and I'm used to people singing songs and make a brother want to get up and cry and confess every sin he ever did. Okay, that's the kind of music I want to hear. Something that compels me. Okay, all right then. So anyway, so much for that. And I just thought I would share. Okay, let me share it one more time with you, and then I'll let you guys. Then we're gonna go to some Kirk things, because Kirk, everybody getting on Charlie Kirk, especially black folks, especially black people. Come on, he was a racist. Well, I'm gonna let you hear some of his stuff this morning, and him debating people, black and white, because Charlie Kirk got on everybody. Okay, if he thought that you were absolutely wrong, he got on everybody. Okay, so let us go now and see where he is right quick. Okay, where's my stuff at? Okay then. Okay, let me see. Oh, there we go, right there. Okay, there we go, right there. Now, Mr. Charlie Kirk, where's he at? Okay, here's one. You know the one thing the one thing we like bringing up all the time is race, right? We bring up race, and then we say that the white guy brought up race. Okay, here's one with Charlie Kirk. Let's see, and a student at University of Texas. I think it's Texas A&M, and this guy was sitting there whining and whining. It's not irrelevant now. He's not irrelevant. Okay, he's not irrelevant. And see, Dwayne, I hear you, but that's okay, because we got. I was in a church a couple of weeks ago, and somebody, when Charlie Kirk got shot, all the a bunch of black folks got up and left the church. I'm not even gonna. Good Christian folks got up and left the church over some crap they heard about Charlie Kirk, and knowing most of us a hell of a lot worse than he ever thought about being. Okay, but they got up and left. I ain't gonna say what church it was, but they got up and left the church. I said, what a pitiful bunch of people. Don't know who the guy is, don't have a clue who he is, yet and still you going to leave church as if somebody somehow insulted you. Okay, and I said to myself, wow, really? That's where we're going. Well, here's one of his things that he was doing, and again, I just want you to tell me what part of what he's saying is not true. Okay, it's not true. I've been black a long time. At least I think I'm black anyway. I've been black a long time. So let's go to this one. And he's talking to a kid at the University of Texas A&M, and this kid got so intellectually confused until he forgot what he was talking about.
There is nothing holding black people back. In fact, the opposite. You could say things that white people can't say and not be fired for it.
People
Hold
say
on.
that to me all the time.
Okay, is that a true statement? Yes, it is. We get to say things that white folks can't say. Okay, it is what it is. Okay, we can make records with the nigger word in it all day long. Let a white man use the word nigger, and my Lord, we want to boycott the country. We can say things that white folks can't say. Okay, is that true or not? Of course, it's true.
In fact, the opposite. You could say things that white people can't say and not be fired for it.
People
Hold
say
on.
that to me all the time, and they just walk around like it doesn't mean anything around here.
Say what? Say the what?
The N-word. I'm not going to say it on this public platform, but people say it to me all the time.
Derogatorily.
Yes.
Did you report it to student services?
I'm not. I have too much on my plate to worry about this.
But you're going to indict the moral character of Texas A&M.
I'm not indicting the moral character.
Yes,
of
you
Texas
are.
A&M.
You're saying that.
I'm
hold on.
indicting the moral character of one person.
Willie, the reason I'm bringing it, and this guy is not irrelevant. I'm sorry. The subject matter that he brings up is absolutely relevant. Okay? We walk around as black folks sometimes blaming white folks for everything that happens to us. Okay? It is what it is. Okay? And he was right about this to begin with. We can say things as a people that white folks cannot say. And we need some intellectual honesty here. And then we didn't blame black folks for taking him out, John. He's not irrelevant. It's what he teaches. It's what he was teaching. Again, we putting this on here so people can see. And this young man right here was way above, was trying to work way above his pay grade when he had this conversation with Charlie Kirk. I like the guy. Okay, I didn't like everything he said, especially when not everything. He did say some things, but let me go back to the black guy, the young man, and he's young, and therefore I cut him some slack. But he totally wrong most of the time in this conversation.
Say what? Say the what?
The N-word. I'm not going to say it on this public platform, but people say it to me all the time.
Derogatorily.
Yes.
Did you report it to student services?
I'm not. I have too much on my plate to worry about this.
But you're going to indict the moral character of Texas A&M.
I'm not indicting the moral character.
Yes,
of Texas
you are.
A&M.
You're saying that.
I'm indicting the moral character of one person.
Now it's one. So you heard it all the time, and now it's one. Got it. I don't believe you because now you resort back to a race hoax to make it seem as if the white kids on this campus are like racist and terrible.
Kids.
Oh, so was it a black guy that said it to you?
I'm not.
It matters a lot because this is how lies are able to grow. Jussie Smollett.
You think I'm lying when I say that people say the N-word around here?
If I think a white person comes up to you derogatorily and says, "Shut up, N-word," I'm not saying they said it. I said, "Are they saying it derogatorily?"
But that doesn't mean.
Okay, so the young man got caught in the BS he was throwing out. Okay, he got caught with the BS Charlie Kirk caught him with the BS he was throwing out. Okay, well, the N-word. Okay, I hear it all the time. Okay, yeah, in rap songs.
I mean, it's word for word like that.
But okay, so then it's not an insult then.
Anytime.
So then don't bring it up as if it's evidence of racism.
You brought the N-word up first. I didn't.
No, I didn't.
You specifically said, name me an instance of the N-word.
I said black people can say things that white people can't say. Of course that's true. For example, black people can go up and say that there's a baby mama problem in black America, and white people are not allowed to say that. Oh, I just did. So what are you gonna do, cancel me? So black individuals have much more intellectual public freedom than white people do. There is nothing holding black people back. In fact, the opposite. You could say things that white people can't say and not be fired for it.
People say that to me all the time, and they just.
Anyway, so that.
So other than like your.
Now that's one of them.
So other than like your advice to.
Here's one more, and we got okay. Charlie Kirk was absolutely right. And if we as black folks don't think we get the freedom to say the things we want to say in this country, we are lying to ourselves. We can say things again that white folks won't dare say. They just won't. They just won't. They just won't say it. And I don't blame them because I don't see them either. But I can't go nowhere. I can't go no place down the street listen to rap song, the N word or the B word or the. Anyway. This is why I play this. I'm play a couple more, and then we're gonna get off this subject. But for all the folks out there who think they know Charlie Kirk and what he says, well, I don't care. Right now, Charlie Kirk is no longer with us. but the substance of what he says is still relevant.
Us as a society could do to kind of steer young boys and Gen Z men to like a better path than this like very indulgent lifestyle of like constantly getting girls and like using women for.
Well, and can I just interrupt you for a second? It goes both ways. So on the other side, radical feminism tells girls to get as many sexual partners as you can, to go sow your oats. And basically what the feminists have done is like every 19-year-old boy's dream, is that every girl is easy and accessible and you don't have to work to go get sex. In the way it should be, a boy should have to become a very mature, very sophisticated person to get to the point of sex. So the boy doesn't have to grow up to get what he wants anymore. And so a lot of this is on women who have basically become pseudo OnlyFans models going around.
Hey, this guy just.
So other than like your advice to young men, what do you think gent lifestyle of like constantly getting girls and like
your oats? And basically what the feminists have done is like every 19-year-old boy's dream, is that every girl is easy and accessible and you don't have to work to go get sex. In the way it should be, a boy should have to become a very mature, very sophisticated person to get to the point of sex. So the boy doesn't have to grow up to get what he wants anymore. And so a lot of this is on women who have basically become pseudo OnlyFans models going around selling themselves for basically for no price whatsoever, because free sex will liberate you. Let me say this as gently as I can. Free sex drives young women insane. The more sexual partners a young woman has in college, the more likely she is to be clinically depressed on antidepressants, because sex for men is totally different than sex for women. Sex for women is emotional attachment. It is relational. It is not transactional and is not purely physical. For whatever reason, the way men were designed and wired, they could have sex with 9 people over 2 weeks and just like, okay, whatever. Like, it's not that big of a deal. It's completely different for young women. And so we have told young women through this hyper-feminist model, go act like men, and a lot of people end up severely depressed. The final thing I'll say is this, is that education is incredibly feminine in its approach and also in its staffing. 75% of teachers before 8th grade are women. Nothing against women teachers, but this is a truism of life. Young men don't like taking orders from women. I'm sorry, it's just a fact of life.
That's
Young men need strong men to say, stop it, stop it, be better. And they will sit down and shut up when a man tells them.
Absolutely.
And so, and especially one that has their act together. So all that to say, we need more strong biblical men that have their act together to actually get involved in young men's lives. And women, for the love of everything holy and good, stop giving your body away to every man that wants it and save yourself for marriage. You are the supply of the problem. So it's both sides. If women were far more careful and pious with their sexual choices, men would follow. If all of a sudden the supply side of this equation would be like, actually, sorry, you have to date me seriously and get married to have sex with me. All of a sudden men would be like, well, I better get my act together. I better get a job. Men will react to the signal of sex quicker than women will. Because young men, especially 19, 20 years old, that's all they think about all day. Sports and sex, what they think about all day long. And for young women, they're like, what do you mean? Like, there's no way. Like, no, honestly, this is a hilarious true study. Harvard University put 20 men in a room alone, no phones, no TV, no newspapers. They stared at a wall. They put 20 women in a room. They asked the men, what did you think about? I think about sports and sex the entire time. Okay. They asked women, what did you think about? They said, oh, we were replaying conversations that we had earlier in the last couple of days. It is very rare that a man will ever repay a conversation in the history. Like, we're very forward thinking. And finally, we are very macro. Men are macro thinkers. Women are micro thinkers. That is why if you sit down with somebody on campus, that is a woman, she's probably talking about the grades in her class, her relationships, her friends, or things that people said to her. You sit down to a man on campus, he's talking about his crypto wallet, whether or not his DraftKings account is in the surplus or in a deficit, and whether or not, Donald Trump is going to take Greenland. The most macro thing imaginable. We are wired differently, and it's time for our educational system to reflect that. Thank you so much.
Okay, let me.
Hey, this guy just.
Is there an expectation that?
Hey, this guy just.
Why?
Well, let me see if I can get you.
Is there an expectation?
One more.
Is there an expectation that if you guys go to college?
Hey, this guy just
Let me see.
lies. Hey, no. He's
Okay.
a liar.
So okay.
He can't debate. He just
Okay,
lies.
let's just. Is there?
Let me get one more here.
If I had known that banana.
I'm gonna get one more.
Is there an expectation that if you guys go to college, you're gonna have a good career?
Okay, one more, and then we will. Okay, we'll let this go. I had one more I wanted to share with you guys today, but it doesn't seem like I'm gonna be able to find it. Let me see here now. Where is it at? One about I don't know. Okay. Oh, here it is, right here. Okay. Here it is, right here. Okay, there we go.
That will not require a college degree. A lot of people think it's necessary to be here. How many of you guys have been told it's necessary to go to college, right? They've all been lied to and scammed. That if you guys go to college, you're gonna have a good career. If you get a job, it will not require a college degree. A lot of people think it's necessary to be here. How many of you guys have been told it's necessary to go to college, right? They've all been lied to and scammed. And the university reinforces it. Gotta stay here, Actually, you could get a better job by not going here. And your professors won't tell you that. You could be richer and happier without any college degree. In fact, the college degree makes you poorer because they have student loan debt and they're 4 years behind. Is there an expectation that if you guys go to college, you're gonna have a good career? If you get a job, it will not require a college degree. A lot of people think it's necessary to be here. How many of you guys have been told it's necessary to go to college, right? They've all been lied to and scammed. And the university reinforces it. Gotta stay here, Actually, you could get a better job by not going here. And you're
Anyway, so there was one more I was trying to.
If I had known that banana peel with cloves cures so many diseases,
Yeah, I know.
I would have never.
Again, there ought to be a law that says you can. Okay. Hold on 1 second till I put you back on the system here. So don't say anything yet. Okay, let me see here now. Let's go to. Okay, there we go. Okay. Now, what's up there, Mr. Caller?
I'm Duck, man. I'm Chase's uncle.
Oh yeah, what's up?
I don't know, buddy. You tell me, man. You the man with the plan. As they say, the money man with the plan, David Ernest.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna invest in you.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I'm kind of a little bit in between a rock and I fell off a ladder and broke both my feet here about a month. What they talking about this morning. Anyhow, getting back to me before we get into the topic.
Yeah.
It's been a long haul for a month, my brother. No work, no nothing.
I know how you feel.
Income. Oh man.
I know how you feel. All right then. Anyway, so much for that. If you want to, and again, the other thing that's on the table is whether or not we should have. Charlie Kirk was a fascinating guy. And most of the time he just didn't play with you. He didn't give all the BS answers. I like the guy. I didn't like everything he said. Like most people don't like everything I said. We'll never like everything that everybody says. But for the most part, the guy was absolutely right. I'm going to put it this way. 75% of the things he said were absolutely right. 25%, hey, nobody's perfect. But anyway, enough for that. I wonder who this is.
Is anybody back on? Well, I'm trying to get. Hey.
Yes.
Hey, how you doing, man? I hadn't heard from you in about 105 years.
Okay, I'm doing good, man. I'm just doing the old podcast thing here.
Well, there's nothing wrong with it. Couldn't get a better person third. I'm telling all the listeners out there, you better get on board or you're gonna get left behind. You know how a boat drifts out into the ocean there, and you see the not the bow. What's that? The stern. No, which one's the front and the back?
I don't know. I was an Army guy. One was.
Well.
I don't know much about the boat thing. Yeah. Although
you need to get it
on the boat though.
I hear you. What you got on your mind, man? What's boiling inside?
Well, we're talking about a couple of things today. Charlie Kirk, the things people who complained about him never even heard the guy, and we're talking about early voting. The Democrats want to have early voting again, like we really like certain people in our society can't get to the bowling place, but they can get to Popeye's chicken. And so I don't understand that. The Constitution does not make a make a distinction between early and the day of voting. I mean, why don't we just start January 1st and go all the way down to December the 31st to vote? That's crazy.
Why not dip into the accomplishments that for the past 12 months that this guy went over to Greenland or the Davos, Switzerland, and I mean, if you can't think this guy is a negotiator, I mean, come on, man, you're full of BS, because this cat right here, maybe that's why he's number 47. And it's miraculously, Kevin, I heard just yesterday, that they're naming the new fighter jet the 47. He said, I'm going to change that name because I don't want no conspiracy that it's named 47 after me, because he said that Davos. Oh yeah, I mean he can pull it back up, but anyhow, man, I'm like you. They can get out here in the thunderstorms and the blizzard conditions and hold up a sign in protest, but they can't get out and vote.
Yeah.
Certain ones, and this crap going on up there in Minnesota. I hope the bottom falls out.
Me too.
With all that.
Me too. And I think they ought to get the National Guard in there right now and throw a lot. But some of those civilians up there, they getting tired of this crap. And I seen them getting out their car, whooping the snot out of these idiots. And, and I felt good about it. Absolutely.
Well, how did you feel solely about the insurrection in the church, man, of all places?
Because liberals don't believe in God, and most white liberals don't believe in God. Black liberals they do, but they don't. They just don't. So they don't care. They don't care if that's consecrated ground. They don't care if that's holy, a holy place. They don't care. They don't believe in God.
I mean, these very individuals, if you suppose you were to run into a Black Lives Matter or a damn Antifa, whatever promotes by, what if you were to bust in there one of their meetings and start doing what they've done? How would they react?
Well, you'd probably get shot or something. I mean, I'm just saying, those people are anti-God. Okay, white liberals are anti-God.
99.9%, and I want people to hear me. 99% of white women that are out there, and they hate this country so bad. I'm like Trump. Get with the program, get with America, stand beside the flag, or get the hell out of the United States.
Outstanding.
And I mean that. It's got these good cats out there that's fought for the country, that's put their life on the line, and they're and you know what I found out also, Mr. Elkins, is Brother Elk is 60% of ICE agents are former military.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
How about, they're not only slapping ICE, they're slapping the military in the face.
Yeah, they are. That's just the way.
That would be like my friend Elkins walking into just an average restaurant, average Joe, got on his military memorabilia, and some idiot walks up and spits on him because he's wearing the military, anything.
I would tell you one thing. I guarantee you that the person he spit on wasn't wearing a set of airborne wings, part of the Ranger Battalion or the Green Berets, okay, because he had a well-whooped ass. So there's some things worth going to jail for, and that would have been one of them. So yeah, so he picked out the right person, because he picked out one of the folks I used to hang with.
Right.
No, we wouldn't have played that. So
well,
that's
and for them to, and then you get the bad part, Elk, is you get all these cats will get up there and the government officials, the mayor and all, the attorney general, you got the governor, and to see what they doing, man, is they deflecting all the attention from the fraud that they got, the billions in fraud.
Well, that's all in Minnesota. I think all the money went to Minnesota.
Yeah, 18 billion as of now, and now they're 38 hot because Pam Bondi. I think they're already there. I may be.
Yeah.
Minneapolis.
Blonde, she's
yeah, but I don't know whether she's hot or not. I just agree with what she's doing, protecting the interests of the country and the people there within. But see, they're scared. You know, they're shaking in the book. But you know what? You know, Kevin, you know damn well better than I do. Nobody is going to jail.
Yeah. Hey, that's
Nobody.
yeah. Hey, appreciate it. Let me take some other calls here, but I appreciate your call. Somebody asked me, DeGreg, talk about the houses the city is buying for the homeless folks here in Montgomery. Yeah, I don't know anything about that. I do know there was a a video going around town said the city is buying up houses for $3,000 that cost for houses that cost $200,000. That was a fake news. That was fake news. Nobody is and you know um don't we owe people? Let me put it this way. Greg, let me ask you a question. Let's put it this way. Don't we owe people an opportunity to live inside? The Constitution of the United States and the preamble to the Constitution says all men are created equal and are endowed with certain unalienable rights, and amongst them, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Now, you can't be too happy living outside. Okay, if you want to live inside, you can't be too happy if you can't. Rent's going up on everybody. You know, the average rent in Montgomery right now is about $1,500. We got people on Social Security who don't even get $1,500 a month. So where are these people supposed to live? I applaud the city if we were doing something for some of these people. Okay, it's not their fault. People are greedy, and people are taking the prices of electricity up. We're taking the prices of, and people talking about, well, it's inflation. Well, it's inflation. It's inflation creation is what it is. Okay, if you go to any place where power is being generated, I don't think you'll hear the pipes complaining about the cost of electricity. Okay, I don't think dog food going up. I don't think the dogs are complaining. So again, it's inflation creation. Okay, is what we got going on. It is what it is. I mean, $1,500 a month for a regular ass apartment, some around here. I can understand those apartments where you luxury apartments. I can understand that, but I can't understand it. Apartment that used to be $500 now, and you know they blaming? They blaming COVID. Okay, they blaming COVID. Okay. Oh yeah. Nobody's gonna spit on me, brother. Nobody's gonna spit on me and spit on me and get away with it. That ain't gonna happen. No, we ain't gonna play that. Now I may end up getting the butt whooping myself because I'm getting old, but you're gonna know I was there. Okay, it'll be the first worst 45 seconds you ever had in your whole life. Believe me. But anyway, what can I say? So the numbers here, if you want to give us a call, you can do that. It's 521. What is our number here anyway? I can't even remember what it is now. Let's go to comment. 521-2963 if you got something on your mind. Okay. And it seems that so Charlie Kirk is still relevant today. The words he spoke are still relevant today. And for those folks who walk out of church just because his name is mentioned, you're an idiot. Okay, you're just an absolute idiot. Okay, because even a broke clock is right twice a day. Okay, so anyway, so much for that. Z's finna graduate in about 6 minutes here from Fort Gordon. But well, we never. Now, I will tell you one thing about Greenland. At first, I was totally against I'm against us trying to take Greenland over. If the president can negotiate a some sort of agreement with them, then that's one thing. So like Puerto Rico, the Virgin Islands, and things of that nature, because as I looked at a briefing yesterday about Greenland, and strategically, it gives Russia the opportunity to get closer to the United States with an attack. And so now that I've seen the Ola would say, now that I've seen the plan, it makes more sense. But I don't think we need to even think about okay. That's not Ukraine. We don't need to be going in there. We don't need to be trying to go in there. Um, that we don't take over people's countries, but if we can have them as a property of the United States, that would be good, and then that would cut off our most people don't even know where Greenland is. Okay, but if I have time to bring up a map, I will. But a globe, and it allows Russia pretty much access to the United States from a long way off. It does, and they got intercontinental ballistic missiles that will reach us. So, and listen, we don't really know what the hell's going on in Russia right now. We really don't know. I mean, during the Cold War, all I know is we were ducking under chairs, learning if they pulled the bomb, sent a bomb or missile our way, what to do. And so I mean, everybody was scared of Russia. I mean, did you ever see Sylvester Stallone and what was those things? Those movies, those things here. What is those movies? Anyway, he was good at what was the name? Somebody knows the name of that series. He was what was his name? Anyway, the movies that he put out for a while, and everybody, the Russians were always 6'9", and they're always tough and all this stuff. Well, I don't know what happened when they got to Ukraine, because Ukraine put a boot in their butt. So I don't think the world's all that scared of Russia now. But everybody's got missiles and bombs and things of that nature. So it makes sense to me. What was the name of that movie? He put up First Blood. What blood? Anyway, blood something. Anyway, and so Russia, it looked like to me the only way they can win is with missile attacks or things of that nature. So the Greenland, even now that I've done a little research on the whole Greenland thing, I know not a whole lot of research, but a little bit. It makes sense that we partner. It makes Steve. Okay. Hold on, Steve. Let me get you on the thingamajig here. Hold on 1 second here. 1 second, and I shall put that there, and share the screen there, and let's go here. Okay, let's share there, and let's go there. Okay. Good morning, Steve.
Good morning. This is LT checking in.
Well, how you doing, LT?
Well, man, I go ahead.
No. You haven't been to Greenland, have you?
No, I haven't.
Okay, then I had never been there either. I guess it's green, so that's why they call it Greenland.
Well, there's a whole lot of ice there, and ice fields. So I wonder where the green came from, but I guess we'll figure that out when Trump lets us know. But
yeah.
Hey, I just wanted to chime in on what you were talking about, Greenland and Russia. Just imagine, Mayor,
mm-hmm.
if Trump would have been president when Russia sent the missiles to Cuba. Just imagine what would have happened.
Well, we're so not used to seeing a real man in the White House until it is a sight that is unfamiliar to us. Okay, a guy with a set and willing to use them, and we haven't seen that in a long time. So now everybody's walking around like scared. Yeah. I think it had been a different day.
All those Cubans that had to flee Cuba and lose all of their wealth and all of their their belongings, homing, because Fidel took over. I guarantee you, if Trump would have been in there as president at that time, and you just think back down through the when Carter was in there, with Iran and the hostages. I mean, just think if Trump would have been in there, the outcome of that would have been certainly different. But he would have seized those missiles, and he would have gotten them big. They have whiskey in Texas, and it's called "Come and Get It." And he would have got a he would have got a case of that "Come and Get It" whiskey and sent it to the old bald-headed joker over there in Russia that beat his shoe on the table at the SAR-UN and said, "If you want your missiles back, come and get it." So they're 90 miles off our shore, and we have seized them. I mean, it's just, if you really think about it, back down through history, if Trump would have been in there, how things would have been different. The way he's able to negotiate stuff and just rule with a fist rather than being passive.
Yeah. Well, again, we haven't seen manhood in the White House in a while. So, and that started with not Bush 1, Bush 2, and the weakness of our leadership. I'm with what's his name, who said, "Walk tall but carry a big stick. Walk soft but carry a big stick." Was that Truman or Roosevelt? It was one of them. And we just been walking soft.
Well, it's just like with the military, letting the military, be downgraded, and now they're trying to build it back up. But you talk about Greenland. There's another issue that's a lot closer to home, and it's right separating, Alaska and Russia, and it's the Bering Strait up there. And the Russians have built the most, and you can look it up, it's the most powerful nuclear ice cutter in the world. And they got it parked right up there, and they can push through ice at record speed with that nuclear ice cutter.
Yeah, I hadn't heard about that.
They're right at. Yeah, I'll send the information to you on it. They built it. It's the world's largest nuclear-powered ice cutter, and they built it for one reason, and they got it parked up there so when they want to slip in the back door. And that's what we need. We need to start building, just like that nuclear ice cutter. We need to start getting our military back up, Navy especially, man. Get it back up before, the doves came in and cut the nuts out from it.
Yeah, I'm gonna see if I gotta take a break, and I'm gonna see if I can find that and see what it looks like and show the folk what you're talking about, because that is and again, the other day when they were doing a report in Washington D.C., that's one of the things I never thought. All I heard was, well, we're gonna take over Greenland or buy Greenland or whatever the case may be, and so therefore that's not a good thing to do. But when she started explaining the fact that Russia would have access to us without any pushback, that makes you think, and this ice cutter thing, they can just come under the seas and do their thing. And hell, that missile, I think one of the missiles will go about 2,500 miles.
Yeah, one of those ballistic missiles, and I mean they're transcontinental, and the thing about it is, I mean, it's just like with Midway during World War II.
Right.
We had to get those because those were strategic points that they could launch planes from, and I mean, there's a reason for this. It's just not he's wanting to take over Greenland because he's.
And we don't know these things until I looked at it the other day. I kept saying, "What in the hell we want to take over another country for?" We can't handle the one we got. But as I did an investigation and started looking at some of the reports that the president is getting, and that's what it makes it. He can't tell us. It's kind of like being in the army. You can't tell every soldier why you have to do what you have to do, because the people at top know why we're doing what we're doing. Okay, And now sometimes they ought to explain a little bit of it to us, but if they don't, that's okay. That's why we put people in charge of the presidents and generals and captains and lieutenants, something like that. And we put them in charge because we hope that they know what they're doing.
Well, and that's exactly right. You elect the president, and his number one job is to protect the safety and the security of the American people. And in closing, and I know, if Trump would have been in there when we withdrew from and had all those folks hanging off that plane and got those Marines killed, that wouldn't have happened on his watch.
Yeah, and Ronald Reagan, who I think was one of the most favorite presidents, was a great guy. But I think leaving our people in Beirut without weapons, that was 250 Marines that one day. That was just. I hope we never put any of our soldiers, sailor, airmen, and Marines in that kind of situation ever again. But
well, you never supposed to leave somebody behind. But I guess if you follow Hillary's logic, at this point, what difference does it make? But
yeah, that's what.
Have a good day, and it's good being back connected to the mayor, the original mayor, the mayor of Montgomery.
That's right, absolutely. I couldn't agree with you more. Appreciate it. Anyway, okay, I gotta take a break, but we'll come back uno momento. Okay, so you guys just hang loose, and I have to go and get my cup of milk right quick here. So we will be right back. So don't go any place. I'll be right back. Oh yeah! All right, I got my little got my little drink right there going on, so I'm good to go. Anyway, everybody, what people complain about anyway? I'm just what are people complaining about out in the real world? Okay. Oh, I saw something a little while ago. I don't know if the city is buying houses for homeless people, but somebody ought to have hell. They can't afford them. It's hard to afford, And what really gets me sometimes, and I had to learn this the hard way. But people who sit around been living on the government forever, like Don, always want to talk about somebody else's house, and always if he wasn't getting that check from the government, he'd be outside too, probably. Because if the truth be told, you give them 20 years and you get paid for the rest of your life. That's a pretty good deal. A lot of people don't have that. You know, a lot of people don't have that. I'm still reminded of when I got here, some place called it was a glass company, and people told me that people were taking a long time because a lot of these people got put out of a job. They got put out of a job, lost their homes. Same thing happened to people in Tuskegee a couple of years ago when they closed down Victoryland. You know, they closed down Victoryland, and a lot of people. And I got to tell you something: losing something that you have worked a long time for, and somebody just make it possible to take it away from you. Yeah, it takes a long time to get. It takes a long time to 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 figure that out. Um, so, you know, yeah, we sit here living on their tax dollars, and we have the unmitigated gall, like Don does, to always dig at people. You know, listen. You've been blessed to buy your little whatever that thing is you call your motor scooter or whatever it is, a motor coach or whatever it is you got, but and you own your own house. That's good stuff. That's good. That's great stuff. But I got to tell you, um, we're all gonna leave here with the same thing we came here with. No matter what you got, no matter what things you own, we all gonna leave here exactly the same way we got here. Okay, and with nothing. Okay, with nothing. Okay. So Joe, remind us what you and your well, you know, listen, they didn't have to go. They didn't have to go. Between 1975 and 1991 was one of the except for the little Iran Contra thing, the little thing off the books, was one of the most peaceful times that our military actually didn't really go many places as a whole military. Um, so you know, a lot of people didn't have to go. You know, at least to we weren't hell. We as a matter of fact, we've never we haven't declared war since 1941. Okay, so the question is, we haven't been at war. Okay, with anybody. Now we've lost some people along the way. Absolutely, we've lost some people along the way, but we haven't officially been in any war. Okay, but anyway, and you know, during World War II, you know who some of the most important people were during World War II? It was the women left back here at home. They manned the factories. They got they got the ammunition built. They listen. So if you can contribute to the effort, you're just as important as a guy who went there. Okay, I'm just saying. Anyway, can a brother get a slice of pizza? I think they closed them down. I think they closed them down. I guess you know I hate to see that. Evidently, I had a pizza over there one time, and it was a pretty good pizza. As a matter of fact, it was a pretty good pizza, and evidently, you know, he couldn't get his stuff together. Mm. If you're going to have a drink without sugar, I thought Pepsi was better than Coca Cola, but it isn't. Okay. So anyway, so can a brother get a slice? Well, you know what? You can't get a slice now because they closed him down. Sorry about that. I hope he comes back stronger and tougher. You know, being in business is not anything nice. It takes a lot out of you. It takes a lot of your money too. And everybody wants to come in and want a slice. Tell me, can I get a break? Okay. So what do we talk about today? We talk about the preacher says that black pastors are not teaching the Bible the way they should. I don't know if they are or not. I'm not a biblical scholar. I do not know. Also, anybody heard of Antonio Moore? Oh Lord, it's him. It is him. Okay. Don, say what you got to say. Don't say nothing crazy though.
Hey, you know what's funny, Kevin?
Mm.
The Negro female lawyer in St. Paul, Minnesota, was just arrested under the Klan Act. I think that's funny as the dickens. When the church
And the
Yeah.
reason I asked about Joe Reed Jr., Lion Joe Reed Jr., is because he called Trump a coward for not serving. Ain't it amazing the people who's never served is going to call somebody a coward? And what's more amazing is somebody like him, a second-rate ambulance chaser, calls a billionaire and president of the United States stupid. I don't think the Reeds will go further than being a mayor. They're not electable in the state of Alabama. And it looks like the Acudam, you couldn't buy the Acudam. They took his name off, his father's name off the door over there. So it's nice hearing from the lawyer. I guess he doesn't have any cases. He's always able to join in the morning.
Well, you know, some people are their own boss, so I guess they can do the things they want to do. I think attorneys are.
Yeah, but it's amazing to me the people. Hey, somebody asked about Duke. Where is Duke?
Duke lost his daughter. His daughter.
Sorry to hear about
Yeah,
that.
his daughter passed, and I think they just buried her a few days ago, I believe. So he hasn't been feeling too well, understandably so.
But it's amazing to me the people that listen to your station call in and call people stupid. That's the most amazing thing in the world to me. And they don't have a pot to piss in, but that's the way it goes.
But you can't take it with you no matter how big your pot is. You can't take it with you. Anyway, good morning to you. Anybody know who Antonio Moore is? Well, he was arrested on first-degree premeditated murder in connection with the death of a woman named Rita Longcharek. 65-year-old woman was stabbed to death in Barnes & Noble in Florida, and in an apparent unprovoked attack, according to the authorities. The world's getting worse, and people getting worse. Yeah. Also, a young man has been arrested for a 2025 Montgomery murder. Demetrius Tucker, don't know what he does, but I'm glad they got him. Montgomery Biscuits host a fan fest to introduce the new ownership. Okay, that's cool. The Montgomery Biscuits want to get you excited about baseball season this year. It's a new ownership and fan fest at Riverwalk Stadium on Wednesday. Next one is it tonight? Yesterday? Maybe it was yesterday. I'm a little late on that. Also, Alabama. Now, again, ladies and gentlemen, make sure you have batteries for your flashlights. Make sure if you got a kerosene thing, you put some oil in it because they are expecting snow. And I ain't talking about just a little snow. They're expecting a lot of snow. Okay. So make sure that you and if you're traveling somewhere, make sure, you might want to, I don't know if you're supposed to carry gasoline in your car with you, but it wouldn't hurt to carry a couple of gallons. I think. I don't know if you're supposed to do this, so don't follow my advice, but that's what I would do, because if you get stuck somewhere and the traffic is all tied up because of an accident, I have seen traffic tie up for about 3 to 4 hours. So you want to put yourself in a position where you don't run out of gas, okay, on the highway. So put your blanket in the car, put your couple of blankets in the car, just in case you are stuck someplace. You don't have to use all your gas. You can get under the cover in your car. And when it finally does move, that you'll be able to survive. Okay. I'm just saying, being a northerner, I'm familiar with what snow can do to you. Okay. And what can happen. Okay. Donald Trump can't stand up to Putin now. What makes it? Who is Putin to stand up to? Who is Putin to stand up to? They can't even beat Ukraine. Okay, although some people have died over there, absolutely. So, and the governor says she's giving $3.8 million grant to strengthen Alabama early childhood education system. Now you guys do realize that our legislature is in session. Now it's hard to know that because you don't hear much about it. You don't hear a whole lot about it on TV. But they are in session. They are making laws right now that to take money from your pocket or put you in jail with another law for something you can do. But Ivy announced a 3.8 grant for Alabama's Early Childhood Education Center. Does anybody out there have any idea what the budget is for the operating budget for the state of Alabama is? I'll wait here till you tell me. Okay. Anybody knows? And what the education budget is? Okay. Okay. Donald, if that wasn't so true, I'd be pissed off at you about that one. But he said, make sure you don't break down on MLK Boulevard. Okay. I understand. I don't know why it is that MLK Boulevards are always put in poor neighborhoods. I'd say, why don't we just rename Vaughn Road MLK? I mean, do we really have to put it? Do we really got to put it in the black neighborhood? I mean, there were some white guys that were working on the garbage truck when Martin Luther King got shot too, got killed. I'm just saying, you might want to. It don't have to be in the hood. Don still think the old chief of police is related to me. But anyway, so take care. Make sure you get batteries for your flashlight. Don't just put it. Even if you don't, those batteries will last at least 5 years. So get you some batteries for your flashlight, and get some extra gas. Put in the car. Get you one of them things because people gonna. If it does start snowing here, people are going to be running to the store, getting this, getting that, and you'll be left out. So I'm just trying to tell you, make sure you get some things because electricity. If the electricity goes out and Alabama Power weren't bothering us, there's nothing in your house going to work. Okay, your phone will work just for a little bit until it dies. So you might want to just take note of these things and prepare for those things just in case. And if the snow doesn't come, it never hurts to have extra batteries, okay, to go into your flashlights and stuff like that. I've never heard of this franchise, but it's called Francesca's. It is a women's clothing store. They're closing all of their locations after more than 25 years in business, and it sounded like it was overpriced clothes anyway. Overpriced, okay? Now, ladies and gentlemen, here's something, and I'm glad I came with this. There were 47 students that have been chosen. Alabama for the class of 2030 at one of the U.S. Service Academies. Senator Tommy Tuberville, a Republican, of course, from Alabama, announced on Wednesday. I'm going to read you something here that let's see if you can understand the significance of what I am reading. United States Air Force Academy. James Michael Alford of Helena. Stella Marie Gillespie of Theodore. Campbell Christian Hooks of Auburn. Antonio DeMar Little of Madison. James Davis Mazel from Hoover. Brody Alexander McConnell from Madison. Richard Joe Raleigh from Huntsville. Mark William Segre from Prattville. Zoe Alexa Smith from Daphne. Jimmy Ray Sosa from Clanton. Ryan Christopher Spann of Helena. Zachary Scott Thunder of Marion. Bella Francis Tomatino of Mobile. John Kason Williams from Chelsea. George Henry Youngblood from Decatur. Taylor George from Mobile. Olivia Rose Carroll from Vestavia. Thompson Brooks Coker of Fairhope. Brody McQuate Davis from Enterprise. Ryan Elsie Ezekiel from Birmingham. Joshua Olede Han from Vestavia. Sequash, where you got that name from? Sequash Eugene Hicks of Birmingham. Caden Walker Hofbauer of Mountain Brook. Stanley, are y'all okay? You probably know what I'm going to say. Stanley Hawkins of Mobile. Jason Parker Love of Chelsea. Joseph Wallace Porter of Birmingham. Kaya Mosley Price of Orange Beach. Kate Maiden Sidell of Vinemont, Alabama. Never heard of that. Molly Silo from Auburn. Cammie Emma Tillery of Enterprise. And the Naval Academy is Simone Margaret Bermudez of Birmingham. Rainer Michael Brom of Mountain Brook. Dominic Diesel Clausen of Piedmont, Christopher Bay Cooper of Birmingham, David Ronald Guthrie of Satsuma, Alabama, never heard of that one. Maggie Christian May Ingram of McCalla, Truman Benson Lee of Mountain Brook, Braden Newton Little of Mountain Brook, J. Williams Merchant of Vestavia, Isaac Aiden Myers of Newton, Jonathan Avery Myers of Newton again, Lane Michael Mitchell of Alabaster, Leighton Matthew Tollery of Auburn, Savannah Grace Tejo, Trejo, from Auburn, Alabama, and John Franklin Wilhite of Auburn, and the United States Merchant Marine Academy. I didn't know we still had that. I didn't know we still had Merchant Marines. Lillian Yasmin Marino of Daphne, and one more, Caleb Scott Schultz of Huntsville. Did you guys know what was missing there? Does anybody know what was missing? And all of those 47 names I called, going to the service academies and the U.S. Merchant Marine Academy, yeah, and that was put up. I guess. Now you've got to. My understanding about it. My understanding is that you have to go to. You have to go to. You have to be. Oh God, I've never been to. You have to be appointed. Somebody had to put your name in, and to go to the service academies, and your representative has to, I think, send that up the chain, or send that up the flagpole. Now, just to be fair, with the school system here, but there's not one name. There's not one name out of 47. We got 60 counties in Alabama, or 62 counties in Alabama. 47 students, and some from Hoover and Vestavia and places like that, multiple ones. Are you telling me that we don't have anybody in Montgomery County school system that deserve a recommendation to our service academy? Now, I will say one thing. We got 67 counties. Okay, thank you. I appreciate that. 67 counties. Congressional congressional nominee. But somebody has to put you in for it, and the service member, the service. I mean, they're like Tuberville. Tuberville, they got to put it forward. Okay, they got to put it forward, I think. Now, to be honest, I am going to be honest. Even though Z did not get the congressional thing, he was approached by West. Okay, I don't know if he really had I don't know if he really had an inkling to want to go, but he got. As a matter of fact, we've been talking to a Major White up there. As a matter of fact, in New York, which is where West Point is. What's up, man?
Hey, Kevin, how's it going?
Pretty good.
Yeah, I want to say, you know, Montgomery, Alabama has, a great, have a great pool of students. Lamp is ranked number 1 in the nation, but not everybody chooses to go there. Although I've had friends who've had children to go to the Naval Academy, especially the Naval Academy out of the LAMP program.
Mm-hmm.
And a few of them are over at MI, and one had, there's 2 of them. One is at MI, the other one's getting ready to graduate and head there. A couple of them going to Harvard. Just because you don't hear those names don't mean that they're not in existence. And keep in mind, Alabama population, what is Alabama population? About what, 2 million, maybe over 2 million people?
I thought it was 4 million.
Okay, 4 million. So you got 47 names you named out of 4 million. So you better believe Montgomery County is not the only county that is not represented, Kevin.
Well, Alabama,
Montgomery County has,
and I hear what you're saying, but we are the state
Montgomery
capital.
County has been represented before.
Right, but we are the state capital, and you would think that somebody from Montgomery, Alabama. Now, I don't really know how that process works.
Well, I tell you how it works.
Yeah.
I've had friends who had children to go to West Point, and also I have classmates who've gone to West Point. And how it works is like what you said, Kevin. You know, it's not what you know, it's who you know. You can have a 5.0 on a 4.0 scale, but if you don't know the right people, if you're not connected and everything, you're going to have more of a challenge getting in. And a lot of those people, they were positioned, they knew the right people, you know, and they knew the right people in government. And keep in mind that, you know, it's not necessarily about parties, but when you have the Republican Party as a super majority, where you may have maybe 28 Democrats, you know, in the state house or either in the Senate versus, you know, 70, what have you. You know, you're going to have that disproportionate.
I hear you, but we only have but we only have, and somebody corrected me on the counties. We only have 66. I mean, we ought to have
65, 67 counties.
Yeah, 67 counties. You would think that the capital city would have some representation in this thing.
And we have, Kevin, but you know, not every county is represented in every class. You know, today you might have Jefferson County or Lee County or Calhoun County this batch, but next batch you may not.
Right.
So you just happen to name a batch that just didn't have representation from Montgomery County. But I've had several friends who had children that I spoke to before they actually left, before going to those academies in years past. So Montgomery County, you know, Atlanta. Keep in mind,
I didn't know. I know.
Program is ranked number one in the nation.
I know. I mean, Z was actually put in for it. We've been talking to some folks at West Point for him. I don't know how motivated he is about going to it, but you know, they were interested. We did send the stuff up to him, and we'll see how
exactly. And the people that you know in government. I mean, Kevin. Yeah. I mean, you know, Z could have actually probably had a good shot of getting in, because a lot of times it's not what you know, it's who you know. And it's good to know something, don't get me wrong, but you know, you got some of these people in these academies that had it not been for their parents being in government or knew somebody in government, really didn't have any business being there. And that's to speak to some of your
I was just surprised though, this close to multiple people from Jefferson County are in this thing, and Auburn and Newton. I mean, you would think we could find one student in Montgomery to go. But
well,
anyway.
it's not surprising, because Jeff County is surrounded by Mountain Brook and these other schools that are in there, Trussville, and these are schools that have cities
let me show some. And we even got Alabama Connection School on here that is represented. That's an online school. So here's my problem, and here's the problem. Why is it that just about everybody on this list goes to private school or a magnet school for the most part, not a regular school, and religious school? Why is that?
Well, Kevin, I could put it this way. My son went to a private school. I'm not going to name the private school, but I can tell you this: a lot of the parents there were connected either in government or they had some serious, significant resources. They had connects.
Yeah.
So I could just leave it at that. So some of your private schools, they have the benefit of having a network.
I hear you,
and that reaches all the way up.
I appreciate it. My time's up. And Don, my son scored a hell of a lot higher than I did, like 30 more points than I did. So listen, I was never anticipating a call from West Point. Okay, as a matter of fact, until recently, hell, I didn't even know where West Point was. Okay, so but I know where the 82nd Airborne is at Fort Bragg, North Carolina, baby. Okay. That's and I know where the Ranger Battalion is up in Fort Lewis, Washington. Okay, to me, that's a better honor to serve with those guys and go to West Point. So, hey, what can I tell you? Time is up. I gotta go. But I would have made a terrible officer. I just didn't have it. I talked too much. I just talked too much, and they kept telling. First one, that's why my E65 still sitting on his desk. Anyway, have a great weekend.